Hey everybody, this is Halstead and Andrew McMillan with REH CPA. Today we want to talk about the difference between a professional gambler and a recreational gambler. So this is a time of year when we're starting to get tax return information in, and we will see some gambling activities, and some clients will consider themselves professional gamblers and some of them recreational. I've got Andrew McMillan here with me today to kind of go over the difference between the two. Andrew, what is the difference between a professional gambler and a recreational gambler?
So there are some very specific tax law differences on how they're treated, and honestly, from a business perspective, like if you're a business owner or you're a professional gambler doing this as a business, the IRS doesn't really they don't give you a whole lot of benefits here in either scenario. But if you are a recreational gambler, you are required to keep track of your income, your winnings and losses. And then at the end of the year, you must report all of your income from gambling winnings on your tax return in an other income line item, and then all of your losses, you can only deduct your losses up to your income, but they're also a miscellaneous itemized deduction. So to even be able to deduct those losses, you must first itemize your tax return and be able to absorb some of those losses through itemizing your tax return. So if you're not doing that, then you're reporting all of the income on your tax return and you're not getting the benefit of any of the losses. So if you're a recreational gambler, one, you must report all of the income. You may be able to deduct some of your losses, and you also cannot deduct any of your expenses like travel, to a casino or anything. So recreational gamblers, not a great tax benefit there, and people need to be mindful of that. Now, conversely, if you're a professional gambler, again, you're required to keep track of all of your winnings and losses. Your winnings are typically reported on a Schedule C as other income or as income. You can deduct your expenses. You can deduct your losses. But again, you can only deduct your expenses and losses up to whatever income you generated. If you had a losing year where you had more losses than you did income, you were in the negative, you cannot take that negative as a deduction against other sources of income in your tax return. It stops at whatever your income is, so it's just a net zero. So that's completely different than most normal businesses that if they run a loss, they can oftentimes deduct that loss if they need to. So professional gamblers are already scrutinized by the IRS on whether or not they truly qualify as a professional gambler,
Right.
But they also don't even give you great tax benefits there.
What are some of the ways that you qualify to be a professional gambler?
So, I mean, it's all a facts and circumstance test, but the biggest thing is you have to have continuous and regular gambling activities. So you have to gamble pretty much throughout the entire year. It has to be continuous. It has to be regular. And
It's almost daily. It's like a job.
And you have to have a for-profit motive.
And if you have another job, it's going to be hard.
It is.
If you have another job where your primary income is coming, it's going to be hard to be considered professional.
It's going to be
gambler.
very hard because even retired people, they gamble, or some may gamble all the time, and they still aren't considered a professional gambler.
Right.
So you really have to meet these tests. You have to have a for-profit motive. I mean, if you're never really paying taxes on any of your gambling income, then it's likely that the IRS is going to scrutinize that and begin to argue whether or not you truly are a professional gambler. So it's regular, continuous gambling activities throughout the year, and you definitely want to make sure you have good documentation for what you're doing.
Good documentation as far as like a log of when you went in. A lot of these casinos track your activity, so it's kind of easy to have a log, but you definitely want to be able to prove that you're spending the majority of your time gambling. Awesome. Well, that's really good information, Andrew. Appreciate it. If you have any questions on whether or not you qualify as a professional gambler and the tax impacts of that, feel free to give us a call and we'll help you out. Thanks.